The legacy of Alexander the Great lives on in our proud city. Even though his mortal remains rest in Alexandria's mausoleum, his great city continues to thrive. It is up to you, Ptolemy I Soter, to carry on with the job the noble Alexander began. Since its founding by Alexander barely 30 years ago, the city has become a powerful commercial hub, supplying much-needed foodstuffs and items of luxury to much of the surrounding area. To further its economic progress and to ensure the safe passage of the many ships entering the Great Harbor, you should construct a massive lighthouse on Pharos Island, near the mouth of the harbor. This structure's beacon of light will guide distant seafarers safely into the harbor, ensuring that they do not founder on its tricky shoals. Important as commerce is, however, you cannot ignore the cultural and intellectual advancement of our society. Under your leadership, Alexandria can now become the intellectual capital of the known world as well. Gather works of knowledge from near and far, and build a great library in which to keep them. As sure as ants are attracted to honey, learned scholars from all over will journey to this unrivaled center of knowledge and learning. To build these great monuments, you will need to import a building material, such as white marble, that will be suitable for such great structures. Encomi, on the island of Cyprus, is a good source for this material. Lastly, do not ignore your military. There always seems to be unrest in one place or another. It might be necessary to dispatch troops to distant frontiers to protect Egypt's interest and defend her honor.
G'day mates, welcome back to Cleopatra and the Pharaoh, expansion to Pharaoh we have here. So we're heading into Ptolemy's Alexandria, and we are Ptolemy the First, the basically one of Alexander's generals. Looks like we've got, it's only a monument rating of 28, but it sounded like we were building 2 monuments, so I'm not sure why it's so low. Maybe they're very small monuments. I'm not entirely sure about that one. But we have ourselves here a mammoth building task ahead of us. This is going to be, well, this is similar to something like Blxz or one of those kind of missions that I did back earlier. So let's dive on in and see what we find. And, brilliant. Loyal soldiers are indeed rejoining us. Maybe a military mission, this one as well. I do believe, what's his name? Soter, Ptolemy I, was a bit of a military general. He fought up the coast a little bit with the Seleucid Empire up here. Or Seleucid, you can put your pronunciation on that one. Now we've got here, this is where Alexander is buried. This is, I suppose, the big graveyard. It's the dead centre of town, bottom tish. That's a terrible joke. That is where we're going to, we can't move that one, so we cannot rebuild that. It's interesting. Let's have a quick look at our monuments here as well. The library is, just the library, has a decent sized footprint. And I could put this down here, but that might be over-capitalizing on this one area. I think a housing block should fit in there beautifully, just there. So, if it's got the same dimensions as the previous map. So I could probably do my standard 2 housing blocks here, maybe a third one over here at some point, and maybe put the library somewhere up here. Now, the other one, of course, is the Pharos Lighthouse. It's got to be built on an island. Which one's... I'm assuming that is where it's got to be built. Yeah, it's a long way out. I would have thought here would be a nice place for the island. I think maybe up here, but nope, it's apparently being built right there. So I'm going to need to somehow get stuff out there. I don't... Yeah, okay, it's just going to require... It's probably going to be very similar to the Sphinx or something, or the Abu Simbel. I'll just put it out there and they will carve it out of that rock, maybe? No, I think I'll be importing something for that. Yeah, there we go, marble. G'day, cat. How's it going? This is a bad time for you to be talking to me. I'm busy at the moment. Yep, I know. So, of course, now the farmland. There's a couple of changes in this map. This map is a little different to the previous one. The walls have been set up nicely. Apparently, the entire city has vanished, which is a little bit unfortunate. G'day, cat. They did mention that this was a trading hub, but it appears to have... no, it's shocking. It's terrible stuff, cat. Okay, so it looks like all the farmland is down here. There's a little smattering of it along there. But, going to be a little more difficult, especially considering we need to feed a lot more people. Okay, so there's a bit of farmland up here. That's, yeah, I know, farmland up there, that's good. Yeah, I'm going to keep talking to my cat. That will be distracting for some of you people, but you'll get over it, I'm sure. Now, it's going to be like a distribution hell on this mission. I think we're going to have to really bring a lot of stuff down. I'm going to have to probably plan up a center warehouse somewhere. I'm not entirely sure how to do that just yet. And we've got another god as well. So Ra is still a patron at Ptah from the previous mission. And now we have Bast as well that we need to place down. Yes, cat. And whoa, nice money. Very nice money. Funding is looking good. You know, with that, guys, I'm going to poke around and sort of figure out my trade options a little bit here and see how I'm going to build this city. And actually, before we go, let's just double check everything is the same. Grain's the same. Clay pits. Hang on. Ah, no barley. So apparently the climate has changed or something. They can't grow barley here anymore. But clay, some clay has magically appeared. That is interesting. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to poke around here and figure this stuff out, and I will cut back once I know what's happening. Alrighty then, mates. This is how the city is going to be laid out, at least in the early part. We will, of course, add on additional blocks as time goes on. But we have here our main housing block. Now, I've put nothing down here because I have learned from my previous experience. If I put a bunch of stuff down, it will collapse and burn down before these people move in. They're all going to move in here first. Up here, I've already set aside a location for the Alexandria's library. This was pretty much where I was thinking to put it in my planning of the previous city. And I'm assuming it's going to fit in quite nicely there. And possibly we'll have a little noble block or something over here. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work just yet, but I'd like to keep some more housing going across here. Have a fairly tightly packed in urban area would be nice. The main distribution, I think, is going to be over here. Yeah, the docks are going to be over here. I think this is where we're going to have most of our docklands area. Because I suppose I could do it down here. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it. I'm thinking it'll possibly be here. This is where I've got enough trading capacity to put in a lot of wharves down. I can get all the warehouses along here away from these areas. And then, of course, the distribution and storage for living quarters and stuff can be here. Now, our first money-making venture, you'd think, let's have a quick jump down here, you'd think it would be papyrus. I have got this block planned out, but they're basically going to be food in the early part, and I suspect papyrus will come shortly afterwards. It really depends on how much unemployment I have, and I suspect given that there's two big blocks up here, it will be considerable unemployment. It'll get even worse when this block is populated. But I'm thinking of going into, instead, a little trade with Mennefer here. Now, they're a land trade route, which early on is nice and easy. There's no infrastructure required other than a single warehouse, and I don't need to I can put it wherever I want, really. And they will buy bricks, which can be made from our grain trade, and pottery, which we can make from clay, and they will synergize very well together. I just throw down a couple of extra little areas, and we'll be all good. Now, food will have to come up, but I don't want to connect these guys if possible. Actually, maybe I can connect them. I'm still not sure just yet how I'm going to do this one. I don't want the papyrus to be connected, so I may have a little papyrus industry over here and just use those as resources and end up connecting these guys up. But I do need probably hear my cat in the background. He's driving me crazy today. But I will need to probably connect these up to bring resources down, possibly, but definitely the farms will need to be connected because they will need to travel up and drop their stuff. So probably similar to last time, although I may end up connecting the housing block as well and keeping the papyrus separate. So, of course, papyrus trade going to be a big thing later on. Quite a few people will buy papyrus from us. I think they're all entirely water trade routes. Fortunately, we can't sell beer, and linen is a little more difficult, but they will buy grain at least for, whatever that's worth. 32, I think. 26 we get. Oh, wow, that's really shit. Maybe that will increase over time. Either way, I'm going to jump forward and we'll see how things go from there. Okay, got ourselves a nice little setup here. Now, it's not perfect, but I really did want to work in this festival square here. I thought that would be a good little area, especially considering that was a natural crossroads. I have slightly reworked this road to give me a bit more space, but I can fit all the potters and whatnot double side down here. Again, a little bit of space up here for other things. Now, there's a very small chance they will come down and loop up that way and not getting access. And I am a little bit concerned that these guys might not get it. But if that stuffs up, then of course we can throw down some feeder housing. But it should be possible for them to access it. They really have a 2 out of 3 chance of picking the directions that will give them access to labour. So that'll pick up with time. Obviously, a couple of them are doing it. Now, how's our unemployment going? I suspect... Ooh, it's growing, finally. That's beautiful. So this will get our pottery rolling, and then we can start to distribute that. And I think we'll have a whole bunch of warehouses over here somewhere. Keep that looking nice as our main sort of storage area for grain and pottery and beer and whatnot. Okay, I did end up throwing a little bit of feeder housing and just some stuff up here to maintain that. Simply because they were going down. They were getting it most of the time, but some of these firehouses and in some of the ones up here, we're just very occasionally dropping it. That's not good. Let's put it that way. I don't want the entire industry to burn down. Now, of course, what we've got over here is time to open up a trade route. Let's open them up, and I'm going to, if I can find pottery, there we go. I'm going to export all the pottery I can. I'm also going to export all the bricks that I can, although I'm not going to actually have any bricks just yet. So they'll be buying pottery, thank you. Pottery for the time being. Our unemployment should be... Oh, it's shooting up far quicker than I thought. These are some really big areas, but what we're going to do now is actually start to bring people down here and start feeding them. So we're going to require... How are we going to do this? We're going to throw you like that. Food levels are low and unemployment is high. I do understand that. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now this will allow me... 1, 2, 3... This will allow me to get this area fully sorted and allow us to start farming quite heavily now. I'm going to bring these people down, and I think I may even farm along here. Now, there's no real downside to farm. It's a long, long way away, but I can set up a whole bunch of stuff quite easily without having to... I can throw down some work camps without having to worry about the logistical nightmare of getting these guys sorted up for worker access and whatnot. I may have put this a little bit too far to the northwest, but we'll see how this goes anyway, and hopefully we can get everything sorted for the city to start thriving and getting rid of our horrific unemployment. Okay, this is a very early request. 500 grain. I think we're only in our second year here so far. Let's have a quick peek. Yes, we've just begun our second year, and I'm already having requests for grain, so we need to get cracking on this immediately. So to that end, what we're going to do is throw down a bunch of farms. They're probably not going to get that grain request in time because I'll need people to move in, and that's going to take all sorts of drama. But we'll get this grain started right away and hopefully start to feed our people as well. Okay, 6 months remaining. I'm not sure when we're going to get this one. When is the flood? That's the question. It's going to be in September. It's currently June. These farmers will probably get started. We may actually get 500. The real problem, of course, is that they're going to have to travel across the entire map. So to start with, I'm actually going to throw a little sneaky storage yard right here, and it's going to accept nothing but grain. So we can get this first harvest put into there, and then afterwards I will connect these up and get that area fed up there. So we have 2 granaries, simply because I need them to be getting. There's going to be a large population here. I could probably delete one and move it over if other housing blocks in future struggle to get the food. But I think for the time being, the 2 of them should handle any future growth in the city, when we of course have a grain storage yard there to just to prompt them to come up so they don't get killed off by the flood. And there we go, more than sufficient amounts of grain coming in. This will probably even be able to allow us to feed some people. Where are they going? You're accepting grain? Where are you going? Oh, okay, that's certainly one way of approaching it. I probably would have dropped it off immediately, but whatever. We have our grain come in, and with that we can send not quite enough. Now we can send that off to the people. How much time is left? 3 months remaining. Loads of time. That flood could be a problem as well in the future. So either way, that is our storage yard taken care of. Now what we need to do is connect these people up. I wasn't planning on doing that, but you know what, let's go ahead and do it anyway. We're going to throw you guys off over here, and I just think Papyrus in future will actually need to disconnect these areas over here, so Papyrus is entirely disconnected. Oh, I wonder if these asps are going to go and kill my people or not. They're on a mission. Look at them. They're on a mission. Check that out. We're going to throw down... loyal soldiers will join me. I'm suspecting it'll be one of each, as per normal. Man, they're on a mission. Look at them. They're all migrating. I don't know where they're going. Okay, gift from a neighbour here. 400 gems. Not really useful at the moment, but I'll put them in this yard for the time being. There we go, gems. Now I am going to require gems for nobles later on to make jewellery, and there are no burial provisions required. So I think... What do I think? What do I think? That is a good question. I think that we'll just hold... Brilliant. I think we'll just hold on to them for the time being because they are pretty expensive to import. And it's only a very minor head start, but it will help us just a little bit. And there we go, out of money for the first time, which considering we're near the end of our third year, I'm doing pretty well for myself. I did start with nearly 20,000, but I got another 5,000 on top of that. That's pretty good. Bricks, of course, now are beginning to come in. What do we require? We require straw. Looks like no straw at all is available. Okay, a little bit of straw was available. And we've made one set of bricks. And there is more straw coming up now.
Clear across the city with these goods.
Yes, you do. Clear across the city. Now, that should be pretty good. That should be sufficient straw for the timing. It's only 6 guys. I may up that to 8. In fact, I think I will up that to 8 brickworks. Just in case. Let's double check that our unemployment is comfortable. Those should put us back into negative territory. But of course, we have here quite a lot of housing that is ready to move on in. Entertainment will be the next hurdle. There we go. Health is improving. That's very nice. I need to see how we go in terms of food here. If this is sufficient to feed everyone, which it will be, but I'll take a little bit of time there to figure that out. I'm going to throw a storage. Thank you. A little bit of another storage yard up here, and you're going to. Where are we? Grain. You're going to get maximum grain. I'm going to transfer it out of there. That was a slight misclick, and I don't like them walking around the whole way. So I can load it into there. Then things will be... Hopefully drop it off there. No, you're going to go all the way up. That's unfortunate. I can actually unload pretty quickly. That's kind of cool. Either way, we're going to throw a little granary here. Yeah, we're going to throw a little sneaky granary there. I'm going to... Not worry about road blocking it actually. I'm going to leave this open nice. And you're going to get up to half in grain at the very least. I don't want you taking all the grain. Yeah, whatever. You're going to be fed shortly. I don't want you taking all the grain, but you can take some of it and we will clear you out. Now that'll allow us to feed these people here as well. Throw a little sneaky bazaar there. And that should mean that we've got this area fed up as well, and that'll allow us to keep things going nicely, avoid any plague, and keep our unemployment up, because we are going to require that for the next phase of our expansion, which is going to be getting onto papyrus. We'll need another export. Now bricks should make us a little bit of cash. Exports earned 3,000 last year, and that was no bricks. That was pottery alone. So with the bricks this year, I'll keep an eye on that and see how we go. Now, it's all from the same buyer via land trade route, so they may be limited in how much they can buy. They can get 5,000 units, so 50 individual production loads per year. Now, that may be too much for these little traders to handle. We'll have to see how they go. Bricks, of course, are more valuable, I think. It's been a long time since I've made bricks. 120 pottery, yeah. So bricks are more valuable. It's essentially the clay and the straw and the straw added in. So the straw is a value add, which you make more by adding the straw in than just turning it into pottery alone and selling the straw separately. So yeah, we'll see how they purchase that. If not, then we'll have to look at other buyers and diversify our markets slightly. Okay, a quick update on our income. So last year was just under 3,000. This year we're currently going at 5,625 in December. Let's have a quick look at the world map. How many did they buy? They bought maximum of each. So there is no struggle there, provided we don't start selling timber, which is unlikely, or jewelry, which again is reasonably unlikely at the moment because there's no native source of gems. We should be pretty fine with that. Now, Thank you. These granaries are filled up. That storage there is good. I can probably sell off some grain, although it's not quite working as well as I had hoped. So they run... This guy here seems to be running... Ooh, okay. Cerbit Kadim, we've got to send some troops off. We've got 3 months to send them off. That means it's time for us to stop dicking around. There is a lot happening all at once here, and for too long I have just been playing around a little bit. Now, I'm not going to use this area up here for anything important, I don't think. So I can throw my infantry down here. I can throw 1 infantry and 1 set of archers. And there you go, 16 and 16. They have appeared on the map, which is always good. Now from here we can send our small troop off. We can dispatch them to take care of it's a small force. We'll dispatch those guys off, but we will need to consider working on a better little area set up shortly. We'll need some transports. I will need a recruiter working, and I suspect I'll need a few other things as well. And there we go, heroes have returned. Excellent Kingdom standing has gone up. In the meantime, I have thrown up 3 warship docks over here in preparation for future attacks. I don't think I'll need too many more, and the transports were pretty useless last time, so I'm not entirely sure whether I'm going to send off, put down, like I can throw a couple of transports there if I desire, but the other option of course is just to throw down another warship, a wharf right there, possibly a transport at the end here. Not sure how it'll happen just yet. We've got a little ship right over here, and they will crank it out. In the meantime, can we sell anything else? I can sell papyrus, which I'm currently in the process of getting. That's good. I can sell straw somewhere, I think. But I need to open up a trade route for that. We are currently struggling a little bit, so I'm going to start exporting our papyrus. We're going to export over... if there's some in the city, take it, get rid of it. Flood will be mediocre, thank you. So there will be... Yep, they're disconnected. So as long as I keep them disconnected, things should be fine there. They will not walk all the way down there just to take some of that. 3,000, excellent. So hopefully we can start selling off that papyrus and make a little bit of money and get ourselves out of debt that this little military adventure has cost us. Well, I was thinking it was time to start construction of the monument, but holy damn, it's 210 Debens per piece of marble that we require. That is really, really expensive. It doesn't say how much marble we require to build them, but we will require that for both of them. So I'm going to throw these down now. They're going to be really, really expensive. So I think we're just going to import at a nice gradual, slow pace. Throw the library down first, and we'll see how we go from there. So I think that just said copper. Yeah, so we need a hell of a lot of copper and a shit ton of marble as well. This is going to be really, really expensive. Okay, I ducked into debt because I've opened up a couple of trade routes, but we've got our import for copper and marble set up into these 2 yards. I've opened up another person to buy some of our papyrus since we seem to be pumping that out really quickly. Now this, it's going to just plunge us into debt. Look at that. Beautiful looking stone though. It does look nice in this game. It's just a reskin of the plain stone and sandstone and limestone and all that, but looking very nice. Now these guys should, there you go, they buy a hell of a lot of papyrus as well. Now we should have sufficient trading between these 4 docks to keep everything sorted. The only problem of course is when I'm moving things up further here, but the stone should sort of stay basic for now. It'll just have a gradual cost. I'll bring it in bit by bit while we prepare the base over here. Well, I wasn't quite paying attention. We have ducked massively into that right towards the end of the year, but I think we've sold everything off. I got a little bit cocky thinking that we had everything sorted, but oh well, we'll survive, I'm sure. Okay, gradually digging ourselves out of debt now. We're at just over 6,000 and negative because I did fill up these yards. Got a little bit cocky there, but we are gradually digging our way out. It's only June, and why is there a fire in the city? No idea. I honestly no idea what's causing these fires, but it's always in the same spot. These guys never burn down. It's always these middle 2. So I'm going to throw another couple there, and that should take care of it. Request for fish from Maydum. Not something we're prepared to do just yet, but I'll try and set up a little fishing area over here. I think I can get a few wharves in, and that'll be good enough. Well, we didn't make the fish fish request, but we do have ourselves a little area set up here. These people as well will get food, and they should level up to at least something requiring... in fact, they may even get as far as these guys. I don't see why not. I'm not going to put too many more services there, because it won't be worth my time unless I need to perhaps absorb some unemployment later on. Yeah, a little bit short at the moment. But for the time being, things are pretty good. Okay, Egyptian city under attack. Flooded clay pit. Oh, that's just a pain in the ass. Done deliberately to frustrate the player. I hate those little events like that. Either way, let's have a quick look at where we have to send our people. It's a waterborne. We need waterborne troops. To do that, though, I think we can just send off our 3 people there. Now, it's only a small one. Those 3 warships should be sufficient. I will, however, throw down... we've got the cash for it. Throw down an additional warship wharf in case future attacks are bigger. And there we go. We can send off that fish. And on top of that, we've actually got ourselves a nice little... frustrating. Okay, that is the shipwright burnt down, along with whatever timber was stored in it. Look, in the meantime, what we can do is, we've got this area that's set up. The fish will be able to come in, and that will provide a secondary food source for when we eventually start getting on towards manors, which I think the manor block will be over here somewhere. It should be nice and beautifully set up over there. And of course, the heroes have returned from defending Meidum. So our naval support did actually work. And look at these farms are fertile. This is brilliant stuff. So we're getting 100% yield from everything. I think at this point, yeah, we can't even our storage yards are full. At this point, I think it's going to be time to start exporting grain. Let me just think about this for a second. 3,200 there, plus 16 there's 48, I think. Another 64 on top of that. It's going to be confusing. I don't want to export anything that's stored that far down. So what we're going to do is grain. We are going to export the grain. You're going to export over. Let's think about this. I've got 3 by 32, which is 1 storage yard down south and 2 granaries up north. I can't even think of the math at the moment. What is that? 96. Okay, we don't want 96 to be done. Let's get that to start with. And then I don't want an additional 1,800 from the granary down there. So that is 114. My math should be correct, but we will find out. So export anything over 114. And how much do we currently have? That's the question. Currently have 6,100. Maybe they don't count stuff that's in store if it's not in storage yards. In that case, that simplifies things a lot. Export anything over 3,200. Yeah, anything over 3,200. If I notice that they're running all the way down here, because this one might duck below 3,200, I will up that slightly. Okay, I've set up a little fish export as well. Gone through and opened up the majority of trade routes on the map. There might be a couple I've missed. Meidum. You haven't opened up Meidum yet. They will, you may as well. It's cheap. It's a land trade route, so it won't affect anything if I decide to sell it later. And with that, we've opened up every single thing on the map. So I will be exporting fish and straw as well, just because I don't need the fish for the time being. I can always change that later, but they may as well at least pay for themselves. And we seem to have had a little bit of a bug here. I'm not sure what's caused it, but I thought it was that they were too far away, the work camps. But these work camps are close and they're still not working. I'm going to have to actually, as much as I hate to do it, I'm going to demolish that monument and rebuild it. Alexandria's library is going to be rebuilt. Hopefully that will clean things up a little bit better. In the meantime, I'm going to just remove these gardens, just in case they were affecting it as well. Now, they seem to be entering from down here, the first location, so that shouldn't have affected it. But just in case, I will hope it works this time. Okay, request for 1,100 beer. Again, not something I'm capable of doing just yet, so that is a little bit of a pain in the ass. What we're going to do is throw down... How are we going to do this? We're going to handle... Oh, that was a mistake. I'm going to throw down 3 storage yards, and they are going to accept... where are we? Barley and beer. I have to go back and do the beer in a second for the other one. I forgot to. You can accept half the barley and half the beer. And then what I'll do is I'll import and set up a little barley process, a little brewing area just over there. And somehow my personal mansion has just burnt down. Thankfully I was not hurt, but I tell you what, it's just across the road from a firehouse. That is very, very frustrating how that happens. But, and look at that, there's even a dude that was just walking past it at the time. Maybe I can throw another set just there in the off chance that they will not allow that to happen in future. Okay, wages have fallen, and at the same time the message came up as well. We did fail to send off that grand festival. We have a little bit of barley coming in now, so we will meet the second one. Obviously these people have bought out some of our beer, so that was probably a bad thing on my part, but it doesn't matter. We will get that sent off to them shortly. In other news, this here is not working. Is it a person who's glitched out? I don't know what the hell is going on here. Seems that they can't seem to build the whatever this is called, the Alexandria library. So hopefully it's not bugging out permanently. I will not be able to actually win this mission, and that would be shit because this is a unique monument and I would really, really love to see what this monument is. I'll see if I can, maybe I can rotate it around. No, I can't rotate it, and apparently rotating my view doesn't allow it to be rotated either. So we'll see how we go anyway. I'll throw that down there and I'll build a road right around it, and on the off chance that something else was going wrong and it needed more access. There you go, it's all completely done. I don't know exactly what caused it, but it did bug out twice on me. Thankfully still very early on in the piece, and my cache now is pouring up so we can handle any marble and copper imports that may come in. I'm actually going to just lower my imports to the time. I'm going to leave it at 800 just in case I need to make some weapons later. But I don't want that yard to continually import a full thing worth of copper. Compliance possible, send off to the beer. And of course we are now looking very, very nice. How's unemployment at 2%? That should not climb any further. So I can throw down a courthouse if I can find one, and start to level these people up a little bit further. Now, all we've got now is space for the mortuary and possibly a few other things. A school I think I'll need as well. I think I'll throw the scribal schools down, although I don't actually expect them to work because these papyrus delivering people are too busy. They send off, they've got 2 walkers, normally a delivery man and a picker up person, I guess. But both workers seem to be involved in picking up papyrus from down here. I may need to increase my papyrus production, or more likely, now that I've begun to tax my people slightly, I think I will actually stop exporting papyrus, and I'll see how that goes anyway. We're currently, imports don't cost very much, it's only the barley. Exports are earning quite a bit, so if I turn off my papyrus exports, I should still be able to maintain my my prosperity. And here we go, first load of marble has been put down and nothing happened. Okay, this is going to be one of those boring monuments, I think, that, yeah, different to the pyramids, unfortunately. I guess it'll be just a little bit dull. Okay, we've just received a gift of 700 and something jewels or whatever, jewellery, and Gaza will now happen because we sent off some boats to a thing I didn't show on camera. They'll buy more papyrus, not hugely useful, but they will sell us a secondary type of luxury good, which is nice. And I'll buy linen. Look, I'm going to open you up just because, simply for the fact that I can. In the meantime, why are these guys... Scribal School's not getting anything. That's a little bit unfortunate. But hopefully when that one maxes out, then they'll start to deliver as required. That is a little bit of a problem in this game, is getting the buildings that require stuff over long distance can be very difficult to actually put down. Okay, diplomatic activity, a new trade route to Tyre can be opened. They're up here. What do they do for me? They'll buy grain and figs. I can't make figs at all, so that's useless. And they'll sell more stuff, and also sell linen, so I don't need to produce it if I've got a lot of cash and it is a bit of a pain in the ass later on. What am I going to do? I think, for the time being, I'm actually going to need to also build a yard to accept some of those luxury goods. I'll just put them down here for the time being, because they're nicely tucked out of the way. But, yeah, don't want to miss that. Okay, hailstorm, not good here. Now, I have been told, you just saw the explosion up here, and a lot of my boats were destroyed, and most probably, yeah, a lot of my dudes over here were killed off as well. That's a little bit unfortunate. So we're going to throw down a, what am I looking for? A recruiter. We're going to throw a recruiter here, and an academy over there, so we can start to rebuild some of our people. Okay, for some reason we have no food at all. That could well be because I am busy exporting it. So we're going to stop exporting the grain. It says we've got 32, but for some reason I suspect that's because they've gone, yeah, it's only got that stuff down there. So we're about to lose a lot of our people very, very quickly. Thankfully the September harvest has just happened. So if we can get these people fed up quickly, we should be able to recover for the entire city. Death spirals. Alrighty, new trade route available to Serabit Kadim because we sent off a whole bunch of grain. Let's have a quick look at Serabit Kadim. There we are, right here. They'll buy more linen and they'll buy it via a land trade route. That's kind of cool, so they won't interfere with anything. They'll also sell us gems and copper as desired. So I think that's our source of gems for the mission, which we may need. In the meantime, we are struggling a little bit in terms of, what's the word? Struggling a little bit in terms of population for workers. So I'm thinking of throwing down another housing block. We're only a little bit short, actually. It's not too bad. So I think I'll hold off until we finish off this monument, which I should hopefully be doing a little time-lapse of towards the end of the video. And there we go, the Alexandria Library is finished and a marvellous looking wonder, absolutely beautiful. A little bit boring to go, as you guys have probably just seen in the time-lapse that I would have inserted before this. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful finished result. Just a shame not much happened during the construction. Either way, now that these are done, what I'm going to be doing is actually removing all of these guys, and hopefully that'll stop this. That's why they can't evolve. Not enough entertainment. So that's what's been stopping them. Okay, I'm going to throw down a dance school somewhere. I'll throw that right there. That should be sufficient for those guys there. Now that'll allow them to level up, I think, to fancy residences. Now, I need another housing block. I'm going to throw this one in right here, I think. Employees required. Yes, that is indeed correct. That's what I'm working on right now. I'm going to throw... I'm actually probably going to empty you out so I can delete you at... Yes, I'll delete you very shortly. You will actually be probably better off going and getting maximum as well. Okay, this housing block is built and beginning to level up nicely. I think it's only missing a mortuary for later. So once that scribal school gets provided with papyrus from our yards up here, we should be capable of sending everything off. That'll level up the same level as these guys over here. They do require a second type of food. So what I'm going to be doing now is moving over to fish. What we're going to be doing. There we I'll level those guys up just a little bit further. You can get up to half of fish each as well, and that'll allow us to, there we go, that'll allow us to actually level these up to, I believe, fancy residences, and then the gardens and everything behind them, or the statues and stuff behind them, should prevent them from going any further up to manors by mistake. I think I had that in maybe what was Hetep, the final peaceful mission in Pharaoh. Okay, either way, we are all sorted now. I'm going to be dropping down the Pharos Lighthouse. What do we require for that? Marble. Can't get to the staging area. In that case, I will... Okay, that appears to be the staging area. That's fine. I will just build myself a little path up there, and that will take care of this for those guys. We can get up there and begin to construct it. Now, I don't know exactly what is required to build this thing, but that should take care of everything. Stonemasons. Alrighty, let's get that done. Okay, we're looking like we are all nice and sorted at the moment. The problem, of course, is that the marble's all the way down there, and it is a long, long way to go up here. So to that end, I'm going to throw down... I'm actually going to throw down a couple of storage yards. I'm going to throw down the yards up here. I'm going to tell them to get the marble as required. That'll allow them to drag it up just a little bit closer so that we can build this quicker than that previous monument, which just took forever. Okay, I've reached a point where we are beginning to out-eat our current farm production down there in the floodplains, especially when things tend to go bad every now and then. So I'm going to set up another little farming community in here. And how exactly am I going to do that? I think I'm just going to do rows of grain farms up here. And then, unpause as required. And then just have a little mini... Do I want feeder housing? I really don't want to use feeder housing, if at all possible. So perhaps I'm better off doing the little farming community down here instead. But then it's going to be difficult to get access to those people. Okay, I did think about setting up a little community over, in this area and having a little housing block set up. But decided that, what, we do need a couple of just little peasant villages. This can be a little farming village. Now, realistically, farms cover a massive area relative to the village itself. So let's just pretend it's a tiny little cute village over here. I may throw a couple of little amenities in, like a booth or something, just for some fun. But it won't actually help them to level up. Thanks for the goods, I guess. And this will provide essentially a very large unemployment sink. So we've gone from about 15 or 18% down to essentially 0%, with just a couple of people unemployed there. You are not being irrigated. Why oh why could that be? Who knows? It only seems to come out from one direction. Either way, not all these farms are going to be irrigated. I'm not particularly bothered by that, except when it doesn't work. So it does have to come out from the back, apparently. So I'll throw that there, and that will sort that out. So now the majority of these farms now are irrigated, except for a couple here in the center. You can tell here by the water sort of around the outside of them. And there we go, the Pharos Lighthouse is done. Little blood, much sweat, not little bloodshed. Blah, blah, blah. Towering, bright beacon. Now, apart from the flags and the colour that was added right at the end, this is a fairly, I guess, unimpressive monument. It's one of my favourite monuments in the ancient world, but this leaves a little bit to be desired. I expected something considerably taller, especially considering the pyramids were so much bigger as well. That's probably why, if I were a developer, I would put it down here to allow something nice and suitably imposing to have been built. But whatever, they put it at the top, and it's this little squat ugly looking building. Now with that, we can essentially just get rid of all of this here. This whole area was a temporary work camp. You can, thank you, you guys can just head on off. Now with that, I think as well, we can probably stop importing marble. Now, this is going to be a very, very long mission. I've been going for probably 35 years. I think I started in 305 BC. So we're going for about 35 years, but that is because I wanted to get as uninterrupted time lapses of the two monuments as possible. So I was doing a very little other than keeping my city running in between those big things there. Now papyrus we haven't been exporting, but we don't need to. So I've got thousands and thousands of papyrus just stored up. We're really exporting very little overall in the grand scheme of things. Imports are still costing very little as well. So we're a fairly good self-sustaining city. Now, prosperity up to 60, culture very low. That'll be a problem later. And kingdom rating can be taken care of because we have so much money. So very much money. Now, what I need to do is start working on getting the noble block set up. And I think I'm going to put that one over here. It should look very nice over there. I'm going to require elegant manners, which I think are a 3x3. Or are they stately manners? I'm not sure. How many do I require? 6 of them. So I might build, I might try and go for palatial estates if possible. Make this area look really nice and beautiful because this city is really growing into itself. All I'm going to require is linen imports. And, I don't know where I'm going to put the linen. That's going to be a bit of a struggle there. But we'll figure that out. It'll go in here somewhere and then we'll be all well and sorted. Okay, the introduction of linen has had a few unintended consequences. So these people are all nice and beautiful, desirability, blah, blah. Up here we have ourselves some common manners. It looks like they've been buying luxury goods. So I'm going to need to stop that immediately. I wasn't paying attention and it has probably... well, it hasn't cost me anything. I've obviously made that back in tax dollars, but here's the bazaar here. There. Obviously, it's not what I want. It will be eating quite handily into my workforce. I'm several hundred people short. Although I have put down a little physician. I thought I'd forgotten something. I have thrown down another little sneaky housing block here, simply because it just fitted it so well, and I thought that would help to offset some of the problems I'm having with population as well. Grand Festival. Thought I'd use up a bit of beer for the fun of it. Now get rid of these luxury goods, thankfully. And we should be back on track once they burn themselves out. They will devolve back into normal. This is obviously going to take a lot longer than I had thought to get rid of. So we've got a lot of luxury goods stored up in here. But they're not going to buy any more, so eventually these will devolve. And the majority of them shouldn't actually... If I just kind of throw down a couple, I can put down a few statues just to prevent this from happening. Cat and the little lion thing statue there. That should prevent them from going up. It's only the ones that have gardens behind them. So all these ones with shrines behind them will not expand any further. And they will stay at the fancy residence as I'm hoping for. Either way it does mean we are quite short of people for a long time. But I lost money last year. Why was that? Construction, but that'll be resolved very shortly once I get my noble quarters up and running. And no, these are not meant to be noble quarters. Okay, we have ourselves up to the stately manor level. Let's just double check. Yeah, they count as elegant manners, are obviously lower level than stately manners. However, that is not enough for me. I require a little bit extra. Now, they require a second type of luxury good. To do that, we already have access to them. We're going to need to import a luxury good, but you'll notice that they don't differentiate between the luxury goods. So like at the moment we are making jewelry. What I can do here is I can actually import. Now we're going to import 0 incense and jewelry and everything else. 0 will be coming into us. However, if my understanding is correct, the game will see that we have an import open, and there we go. They've leveled up immediately into modest estates, and that is brilliant. Now I don't think we're going to get too much higher than some of these. Probably not. So what I'm going to be doing is instead clearing out this area back here and throwing in more statues. That is not required for access. And I believe Plaza is not as good as statues are. And there we go, palatial estates. We have 6 of them. Beautiful, beautiful palatial estates. Now, they are going to take a long, long time to fill up, but they are gradually making us a little bit of cash. And I'm actually really enjoying this little setup we've got here. I think I will throw just a little bit of beautification in to make this place look very, very nice. Sort of fill in the gaps here and there, and make sure that our gods are not pissed off. They are currently good, although Bast could do with another temple. So we will actually throw a second temple to Bast down just here. And whatever, who cares about that? And just beautify this area up a little bit more. There we go. Now, you know what? I think we are basically ready to push onwards to victory. We have a fairly substantial looking city here. It's actually a very big city. Nearly 9,000 people in total. I'm going to now start working on... Oh, we lost money. In that case, let's start exporting papyrus for a little while. We have so very much of it. Actually, not a huge amount of it. Why are you... You are not. You should get maximum on papyrus. I was in the process of emptying these yards in order to get more linen, but we seem to be holding on for our linen pretty well. So I'm going to bring a little bit more papyrus up here. I can unload this in a couple of goes and just shoot our profit right up. Okay, we are having massive, massive fires all over the entire city. I'm not sure exactly what's causing it, but you look here, this entire area has just completely burned down and nothing, huge spikes everywhere. Phone going off, doesn't matter. Yeah, massive, massive things going wrong. It always seems to happen towards the end. Why, oh why are they struggling so very much? I don't know exactly, but I need to get that under control quick smart because these areas are just going to collapse shortly. Just an example to show how bad this is. There's a firehouse there, a new one I've just placed down, and this guy here is just about to burn down. He has immediate fire access every single time. So exactly what's causing it, I'm not sure, but hopefully we can remedy that. And it seems that most of the area is back under control. Yeah, it's back under. There's virtually no fire risk everywhere, but just randomly they shoot up and destroy and take down half the city with them. This city has just completely evaporated. I currently only have 3 stately manors. The ones up here appear to have just up and vanished for no reason that I can tell. So I guess I'll just throw them back in. Probably they devolved for some reason, and then they've reformed back on the tiny little spots that were too far away. Either way, I'll get things back under control and hopefully we can pull through to the other side. Okay, everything is taken care of here. We have the required manors, we have the kingdom rating, the monument rating, and the culture rating. I'm going to do a quick little, and of course, prosperity is being taken care of because we are now making money in the city. Once I stop building things, we make quite a significant amount of money. So this will rise and probably catch me unawares when it eventually hits 75%. So I'm going to do a little bit of a run through the city just so we can see it in all its glory one last time. And it is a spectacular city here. We've got the big mausoleum, the dead center of town, as I mentioned before. We've got ourselves the Temple of Ra over here. Large temple complex. Another little housing block that I threw down here just because they fit. I could probably turn them and level them up a little bit higher, but I'm happy as they are now. We've got a little bit of unemployment. I could probably throw a courthouse there, but I do quite like the look of those houses, and a little bit of variety is nice in a city like this. And of course over here we have ourselves the palatial estates. May as well go all the way in a mission like this. Really, we've got the resources to do it. And the zoo over here. So this is a spectacular, spectacular city. And the lighthouse sitting up here all by its lonesome, but quite a beautiful city. I'm very proud of this. It all fits together very, very nicely. I'm probably going to have to rebuild it again if we ever come back to Alexandria, but at least these monuments will remain in the same location and we can continue to build around them as we have done here. And a little quick cutback. Of course, these guys down here are spectacularly leveled up. It's not just a little... they're all common residences. They are not just a feeder housing block. They are beautifully leveled up. I may even be able to level them up slightly more with a few things here. Make this area really, really look quite beautiful. And there we go, guys. Onwards to victory.
The metropolis of Alexandria now shines as a beacon to the world. Its great library is unsurpassed as a center for scholastic learning, and the towering Pharaoh's Lighthouse is already one of the true wonders of the world.
And that was a beautiful mission, really great one. It took me a long time, 642 months. Now a large portion of that, probably more than half of that, was, or at least, a good half of it, was me building these monuments here. And essentially I wasn't building the city at all. I was just focusing on watching them at maximum speed, letting time tick on over so that I could capture some good gaming footage. But either way, there was no time limit for this mission, and it was a bloody joy having the freedom to build a good proper city, not having to rush, and really just enjoying myself, taking my time. And in the end, we got some pretty solid scores here right at the end. Good population, well over what was required. And of course, prosperity would have shot up to 100 in the end. So that is the end of Alexandria, of Ptolemy's Alexandria. Hopefully I will march on next time. We'll see what we've got in store for us. But I've been Blxz. This has been Cleopatra, the expansion to Pharaoh. Smash that thumbs up button if you do indeed enjoy city building content. And we're coming to the end of Pharaoh very shortly. So I suspect I'll be moving on to something soon. If anyone's got any suggestions on what they'd like me to cover, feel free to drop a comment and let me know. Otherwise, I think I've got a few ideas of my own. Take care, guys. I'll see you around.